So you've been told your baby is posterior and you're worried that this is going to mean that labor is going to go for a lot longer, or you've been told that it's going to be a lot more painful, and you're looking for ways to help baby turn into a more optimal position for birth. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you what positions in your everyday life will encourage baby to stay in a posterior position and what can help create space for baby to turn. But the biggest message I want you to take out of this video is please don't stress if your baby is currently in a posterior position. Lots of babies will turn from posterior to a better position during labor, and there are also lots of things you can do to encourage this change. Often our baby is in a posterior position because of the shape of our body, the shape of our pelvis. The things that we do in everyday life that create tension in certain parts of our body are going to either restrict or allow movement for baby in your body. So we can help change their position by creating space in the body and mobility through the pelvis for our body and our baby to work together during birth. If you are brand new to pregnancy yoga, I've created a free mini course to help you know how to practice pregnancy yoga safely, and that will be linked in the description box below. So first up, what are we actually talking about? A posterior baby simply means, and I apologize for my baby, my children now are a lot older and I don't have any baby dolls left. Let's pretend this teddy bear is your baby. Posterior simply means that your baby is back to back with you, so that their spine is running along your spine. And the reason this isn't optimal is because it means that their chin isn't tucked in towards their head. Instead, their spine is often a lot straighter in this position, and we aren't getting the crown of their head pressing on your cervix. Instead, it might be pressing onto your spine, which could cause some pain. And it often means that labor doesn't progress as fast because when their chin is tucked and the crown of their head is pressing through, that creates a smaller area to be moving through the pelvis first. So if you've got a posterior baby, the thing to keep in mind is we want to avoid this position where our tailbone is tucked and we're leaning back and reclining. And we want to be in this position where we're hanging our belly forward, creating lots of space here, but also allowing the pelvis to tilt forward so that baby can shift into the right position. So let's talk about positions that you can do on the mat to encourage baby into a better position. Anything on hands and knees, which I realize is probably not super comfortable in the later stages of pregnancy. But get yourself some props. Lean on a bolster or two, lean on a chair, a beanbag if you're watching TV. And you can be in this position while you're relaxing of an evening instead of reclined on a couch. And this is going to be much more beneficial. Your belly just hangs gently. Like I said, if you have a beanbag, you can really relax into it. And you'll start to soften those ligaments and tendons that are holding the pelvis tight and hopefully create that space for baby to move. If you want to go a few steps further, you can come down into an extended puppy pose. So really opening up the angle of the pelvis, taking the knees back significantly further and leaning down into your puppy pose. This can feel really nice if you have a support person. Bring a rebozo around your hips so that they can lean back as you lean forward, and then gently rock from side to side. So other poses that encourage the belly to hang, coming into your regular downward facing dog. If downward facing dog is no longer feeling comfortable because likely you're coming to this video at 35 plus weeks and maybe heartburn isn't feeling great, you can bring your down dog to a wall, but I want you to keep the knees nice and bent so you can lift the tailbone because that's going to tilt the pelvis forward. And so you're still getting that belly hanging action while also using the wall as a support. You could even step the feet wider, bend greatly into the knees, and start working side to side through the pelvis here. So shifting and moving through the pelvis, which is helping to modify both the inlet and the outlet, helping these bones be nice and mobile, is going to help stretch into the pelvis and particularly help if you've got maybe one side of the pelvis is quite tight and maybe that's why baby is in a posterior position because there wasn't the room to move into an anterior position. So by creating that mobility in the pelvis, we're going to encourage baby to get in the right position. So another position you can get into, and one that you can use while you're in bed as well, is a side lying release. So come down onto the left side. And I just want you to bring in a support, a cushion or a bolster in front of the leg and just bring that right leg forward. The left leg is straight here and the belly should be hanging gently forward. And then you're just going to relax into this position. And you can stay here for as long as possible if you're going to sleep like this. This is a really nice way to get those benefits while not having to actively do anything. You can also do this off the side of the bed and really allow this top leg to hang. And this helps to just release further into those ligaments and tendons that might be holding tight in the pelvis. And then the final pose that I encourage for my students to do is a forward leaning inversion off a couch or a bed. Now, while I'm going to be demonstrating this pose on my own today, if you are doing this for real and you are pregnant, you're going to be doing this with a support person who can help to lift you safely out of the pose once you've been in it for a little while. It can be tricky once you're in this position, especially with blood pressure changes of pregnancy, to get back out again. So you wouldn't be attempting this one without your support person nearby to help bring you out when you're ready. So you're going to bring the knees to the edge of your couch or your bed and gently bring the hands down, really allowing yourself to move slowly to accommodate for blood pressure changes here. Ideally, we want the hips as high as we can get them. So we're then going to come down onto the forearms and just let the head gently hang. And so you want your hips as high as you can get them. And we're just going to breathe here. So this is our forward leaning inversion. If baby is posterior and already engaged in the pelvis, this is going to help encourage them to move out of the pelvis and hopefully move into a better position. And when I first started practicing this pose, I'd probably do up to 5 breaths and then gently bring yourself out. You could come back into your position, bring the hands and just do some pelvic circles. And then maybe coming back down for another full 5 breaths. And then building up each time you practice this, so perhaps each day adding an extra breath on and increasing the amount of time you're spending in this position. Now, if you've done all of this in the lead up to birth, but now you're in labor and baby is still in a posterior position, this is one that you can do during contractions. If baby has already engaged in a posterior position and you want to encourage them out of the pelvis during that contraction and help them turn a little so that they can get in the right position to hopefully help birth go a little bit more smoothly. So during a contraction, you're going to squat against the wall, and I want you to press the low back into the wall so that you've got the pelvis tipping back slightly. And then you're going to bring the hands onto the bottom of the belly. Obviously, your belly is going to be significantly bigger than mine. And during a contraction, you're just going to gently lift the belly up. And this is hopefully encouraging baby to move up and out a little bit to turn into that optimal position during contractions. Of course, we're going to be doing this nice and gently with baby. And if the manual manipulations don't feel good for you, you want to listen to your body and stop. And then ask your midwife for other positions that you can do during labor to help encourage baby into a better position. And then finally, the last thing I want you to practice to encourage baby into the right position is a visualization. So this could be as simple as each morning when you wake up, before you start your day, visualizing your pelvis and visualizing your baby with their back to your belly in the right position, snug and warm and safe inside you, ready for birth. If you have time for longer meditations, you could do a guided meditation with me where we visualize baby in the right position and we also visualize birth and it going exactly as we want it to do. So if you want to practice one of these guided meditations with me, they are in my online yoga circle and that will be linked below. It may sound a little woo-woo to be visualizing your baby and hoping this is going to create the outcome that you want, but remember, the body often doesn't know what is created in the mind through visualization and what is real life. We're using visualization to create the optimum situation in the body, and our baby will feel that and it will help our body to relax. And being in a relaxed and open state is one of the ways we create the space for baby to get into the right position for birth. If you would like to be guided through a pregnancy yoga class to help baby get into the optimum position for birth, go and practice along with this video here.